Hello again and welcome to class 345. I want to finish. I want to start where I left off yesterday. I'm going to start where I left off. Donde lo dejé ayer. Where I left off. Así se dice. Off con doble F. Left, pasado del verbo to leave, dejar. I'm going to start where I left off yesterday. Nervioso? Nervous. Page 57. Vocabulary, okay? List 9. Llave, clave, the key. La clave de tu éxito. The key to your success. La clave para aprender inglés. The key to learning English is watching this program. Nervous, famous. Recuerda la pronunciación de lo O-U-S. Famous, nervous, jealous, etc. Dueño, owner. Profit. Beneficios económicos. Beneficios de empresariales. Profit. To make a profit. Se dice make, no do. To make a profit. To earn a profit. To make a profit. That's my only objective, to make a profit. Yes. It's necessary to make a profit. If you don't make a profit, problems. Labor problems, financial problems, everything problems. Okay. So it's necessary to make a profit. Routine. Yes. My routine, 26 minutes on television every morning. It's a routine. Yes, routine. Mi rutina diaria, my routine with Marta. Our routine. All right, todavía, still. Yes, yeah. I'm hitting the table. And now, I'm still hitting the table. And now, I'm still hitting the table. All right. Now I'm not hitting the table anymore. I stopped. But a few seconds ago, I was hitting the table. But not anymore. Now I'm teaching. All right. Todavía still. Todavía still? All right. El suelo. 3 words for suelo. The ground. Eso es suelo exterior. Suelo interior is the floor. Estoy sentado. Yo no estoy sentado en el suelo. I'm not sitting on the floor. I'm sitting on a chair. All right. Si estuviera fuera, I'm not sitting on the ground. I'm sitting on a chair. And in the swimming pool, el suelo de la piscina is the bottom. No puedo tocar el suelo. El fondo, se dice fondo también. I can't touch the bottom. El fondo del mar, the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean. Lo contrario de, the opposite. Contrary existe, pero no lo decimos para contrarios. The opposite of black is white. The opposite of tall is short. The opposite of easy is hard or difficult. The opposite of soft is hard. The opposite of intelligent is dumb. The opposite. What's the opposite? What's the opposite? Opposite también opuesto. The camera is opposite me. Marta's opposite me. Vive enfrente. She lives opposite my house. On the other side of the street, across the street. The opposite of pedir, to ask for. Bueno, es pedir. Pedir un restaurante is to order. In un restaurante. But otherwise to ask for. Si lo quieres, ¿quieres este lápiz? Do you want this pencil? Pues, si lo quieres, pídemelo. If you want it, ask me for it. Si me lo pides, te lo daré. If you ask me for it, I'll give it to you. If you don't ask me for it, I won't give it to you. You want 2 pencils. You want these 2. Ask me for them. If you want them, all you have to do is ask me for them. But if you don't ask me for them, I won't give them to you. I'll keep them for myself. But I'm a nice guy. Soy un tipo agradable, simpático, majo. I'm a nice guy. So, if you want them, and ask me for them, then I'll give them to you. No problem. I'll give them to you. Ask me for them. Ask him. Que ask him. Ask him for them. Ask her. Que ask her. Ask her for them. Ask us for them. Do you want them? Well, ask us for them. All right. Ask me. To ask for. Pero insertas el complemento indirecto. Pídemelo, pídeselo a él, pídeselo a ella, pídenoslo, o pídenoslos, pedidnoslos, ustedes o vosotros. Yeah, ask us for them. Spanish is more difficult than English, but ask for is a bit difficult. If you want it, here it is, ask me for it. Ask me for it. Romper el hielo, to break the ice. The same in English as in Spanish. Bam. Es difícil romper el hielo con Marta, es muy, yes. She's very serious, yeah, seriosa, serious, muy seria. She's very serious. It's difficult to break the ice with Marta. But after you break the ice, riada, the water comes. After you break the ice, consultar con is consult. I want to consult with you. I want to consult you. No, I want to consult with you about a subject, to consult. Consultor is consultant. So, literalmente consultante. Consultant, to consult. Distribuir, to distribute. Bute. Fíjate en la acentuación, the stress. To distribute. To distribute. And finally, preocuparse is to worry. Don't worry, don't worry. Be happy. I'm worried. Estoy preocupado. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I'm worried about the future of the world. I'm concerned about the future of the world. Yes. I'm worried about the future. Estoy preocupado por el futuro del mundo, por ejemplo. I'm worried about the future of the world. Implica cierta o mucha ansiedad. Worried is a negative verb. But concerned significa preocupado, pero es una preocupación más sana. Todos debemos preocuparnos por el bien de la humanidad, ¿no? We should be concerned, but not worried. I mean, not worried, I'm worried. No, concerned. Yes, that means it's important. So we need to be concerned. All right. Do you recognize him? Does he look familiar to you? Does his face ring a bell? Su cara te suena. Fíjate, su cara toca una campanita o campana. No sé si te toca. Does his face ring a bell? No digas nunca ring me, ring you. Suena rarísimo en inglés. It rings a bell. La forma más corriente de me suena is it rings a bell. Ello toca una campana. It rings a bell. Does his face ring a bell? Does his face look familiar? Do you recognize this person? Yeah? Do you recognize him upside down? I'm going to turn, he's up now. Aquí is Aki Morita. His name is Aki Morita. He's upside down. Now, he's right side up. Es el lado correcto arriba. Right side up. Upside down. Lado arriba abajo. Upside down, right side up. This is Aki Morita. Remember, he's Japanese. He's an engineer. He's a quality engineer. He's the manager of the quality control area or department of Honda vehículos, coches, not motorcycles, the car division. Remember? He's married and he has 2 children. And if you remember, about a few days ago, he had a meeting with his bosses, his boss and his boss's boss. And they asked him to go to Louisiana because Honda is building a factory. for Honda cars just outside of the capital of Louisiana, Baton Rouge. Baton Rojo. Baton Rouge is the capital of Louisiana. Louisiana is a state in the United States between Texas and Mississippi and south of Arkansas and the Gulf of Mexico. The mouth of the Mississippi River is in Louisiana, New Orleans. New Orleans is the biggest city in Louisiana. Shreveport is the second biggest city, and the third biggest city is Baton Rouge, the capital. And just outside of Baton Rouge, Honda is building a new factory, modern factory, state-of-the-art. El no va más tecnológicamente. The state-of-the-art factory. And they want Aki. Honda wants to send Aki to the United States with his family to start the quality department, to create the quality control and reliability department. So they spoke to him last Friday about this. He went home. He was surprised. He went home on Friday evening because Aki always, he always, aquí le tienes, eh? He always works late. So he got home around 8 p.m. He was planning to say something to his wife about the offer or the order, era una oferta, pero más bien una orden, to go to Louisiana. His wife doesn't speak English. His children speak a little English. School. His children are young, I think about 11 and 9 years old. But they speak a little bit of English. Aki speaks intermediate. Aki has an intermediate level of English. The people in Japan don't speak English very well. The people in Spain, the average level of English in Spain is much better than in Japan. Okay. And in China. In Spain, it's much better. The English level in Spain is not very good, but it's much better than in Japan. Pero que nos consuele. Mal de muchos? All right, so, but Aki, he didn't tell his wife anything. He decided, on Friday night, he decided to wait, to break the news on Saturday. Fíjate cómo uso el verbo romper. Literalmente romper las noticias. No tiene sentido. To break the news is desvelar la noticia o revelar la noticia. Decir. To break the news. Noticia de última hora. Se dice breaking news. Bam. So he decided to break the news on Saturday. But after dinner, he decided on Friday, this is last Friday, after dinner he decided to open his encyclopedia. He has a volume of, he has a set of encyclopedias. He decided to open to Louisiana because Aki didn't know anything about Louisiana. And that's the story. So are you ready? Point 18, page 333. Aki Morita. Are you ready? Here we have him. Sitting in an armchair, reading the encyclopedia. All right. Aki Morita, this is in the past. This was last Friday. It's not now. It's last Friday. Aki Morita was worried about his future in Honda. Earlier that day, his bosses had told him that he would be quality manager at a new factory that Honda was building in Louisiana. That same night, before saying anything to his family, Aki looked up Louisiana in his encyclopedia. It said that Louisiana was famous for its French influence. A group of French Protestants called the Acadians had gone to Louisiana to escape persecution. they had established a special culture in Louisiana, and they were called the Cajuns, which was a deformation of the word Acadians. Aquí dice de cajún, al estilo cajún. Costillas, al estilo cajún. Cajun. The article also talked about the city of New Orleans and about the history of Louisiana. It said, in the encyclopedia, it said that there had been a lot of political corruption in the state during the 30s and 40s. The only thing that Aki found interesting was the section about the beautiful plantation homes along the Mississippi River in a town called Natchez. He thought that his wife would enjoy visiting that town. When he had finished the article about Louisiana, he sat down to have dinner with his family. It was 8:30. His wife noticed that he was quiet during the meal, but she didn't say anything. She simply thought that he had had a hard day at the office. He was often quiet and pensive when he was at home. All right, these articles are getting a little bit more difficult. Let's go back and dissect the passage, el pasaje, the passage a little bit. Aki Morita was worried. Last Friday, Aki Morita was worried about his future in Honda. Are you worried about your future? Is Marta worried about her future? Yeah. Am I worried about my future? No. I'm too old to be worried about my future. My future is today, now. Aki Morita was worried about his future. Earlier that day, fíjate que digo earlier, como literalmente más temprano, ese día. O sea, antes. Earlier that day, his bosses had told him, pluscuamperfecto, le habían dicho. His bosses had told him that he would be. Le dijeron o le habían dicho que sería él, el jefe de calidad o director de calidad. They told, earlier that day, his bosses told him that he would be, would con L muda, ojo, would, that he would be the quality manager at a new factory, or in a new factory. Mejor at, pero in is correcto. At a new factory that Honda was building in Louisiana. Louisiana. All right. Louisiana viene de Rey Luis XIV. Louisiana. Okay. That Honda was building in Louisiana. Que Honda es construyó, estaba construyendo. Okay. That same night, esa misma noche, that same night, before saying anything to his family. So, Aki got home. He was surprised, probably worried, but he didn't say anything to his family. Antes de decir nada, fíjate, before saying anything to his family, okay, Aki looked up. To look up is consultar. A ver, así. To look up is consultar en un libro o en un diccionario. Buscar una palabra en el diccionario es to look up a word. Buscar una entrada en una enciclopedia is to look up an entry, to look up a section. He looked up, so what did he look up? He looked up Louisiana, quote, unquote, comillar, descomillar, se dice, entre comillas, en inglés se dice comillar, quote. To quote is citar. O sea, citar a Abraham Lincoln, citar a Shakespeare, pero también quotation marks. These are called marcas de quotation marks. Pero cuando dices Él buscó, entre comillas, Louisiana. He looked up, quote, unquote, Louisiana. ¿Lo puedes decir antes o después? He looked up Louisiana, quote, unquote. Quote, unquote. All right. In his encyclopedia, not in my encyclopedia. It said, ¿quién dijo? It, el artículo. It said that Louisiana was famous. Fíjate en la pronunciación de famous. Nervous, jealous, envious, famous, famous. What's the first letter in the English alphabet? A, famous. So the article said that Louisiana was famous for its French influence. Su de ello, o sea, su influencia francesa. Its French influence. A group of French Protestants, protestantes franceses, los acadios, yeah. A group of French Protestants called the Acadians had gone, pluscuamperfecto nuevo, habían ido hasta Louisiana, had gone to Louisiana to escape persecution. This is true. This is a Protestant group, a Huguenotes, the Huguenot group, a part of the Huguenots called the Acadians. They went to Canada, and they settled in Canada to escape the persecution in France. And then in Canada, they had problems too. And so some of them left Canada, sailed down the Atlantic coast of North America, around Florida, into the Gulf of Mexico. And they went to the mouth, la desembocadura se dice la boca, the mouth of the Mississippi River. And they settled in this swampy, una zona cenagosa, pantanosa, del sur de Louisiana, in the south of Louisiana. Los acadios, Acadian. Y con el paso de los siglos, Acadian se deformó en Cajun. Como la ciudad de Zaragoza era César Augusta de Zaragoza. Deformación con el paso de los siglos. Cajun. And the Cajun culture is very famous in the United States. It's a French-American culture, very special. Yes. For example, the city of New Orleans, the most common pronunciation of this city is New Orleans, New Orleans. Some people say New Orleans, which is okay, but the majority of the people say New Orleans. However, the Cajuns say New Orleans. Okay, New Orleans. But it's interesting culture in the south of Louisiana. Salsa Tabasco is de los Cajunes, the Cajuns. And a special type of food, very good, by the way. Spicy, muy especiada, muy condimentada, very spicy. All right, so the article talked about a group of French Protestants called the Acadians had gone to Louisiana to escape persecution. They had established, otra vez pluscuamperfecto, habían establecido, they had established a special culture called, a special culture in Louisiana, estoy perdiendo el hilo, and they were called the Cajuns, which was a deformation of the word Acadians. The article also talked about the city of New Orleans and about the history of Louisiana. It said that there had been, dijo que había habido, it said that there had been a lot of political corruption in the state, in Louisiana, during the 30s and 40s. during the 1930s and the 1940s, which is true, by the way. Yeah, Louisiana was famous for political corruption in those 2 decades. The only thing that Aki found interesting was the section about the beautiful plantation homes. Plantation homes son las grandes mansiones de las plantaciones sureñas de antes de la Guerra Civil. You know, Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind. The beautiful plantation homes along the Mississippi River in a town called Natchez. He thought, aquí pensaba, o pensó, that his wife would enjoy visiting that town. When he had finished the article about Louisiana, well, he sat down to have dinner with his family. And what happened? I'll tell you in the next class.